Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Savari with Paper Crafting Adventures, and today I wanted to bring some ideas for Peach Cobbler Day coming up on April 13th. And really, I'm not sure of the origins of this holiday, but I do know it's a great excuse to connect with friends, family, and neighbors. So I've made some peach cobbler muffins with tags or a card, and really it's just about celebrating the color peach and peaches. And so we're going to get started making some peach cobbler muffins with a wrapper tag. Now these would be great for Easter brunch too, and I'm going to put a link to the recipe that I used down below. It was like tasting spring and summer today when I made these muffins, and this recipe is absolutely delicious. And so I wanted to make sure and share that. I started off with Kessa arch layers from Birch Press Design. We're going to be making these a little bit longer so that they will go the full width of the muffin. And I just love the lavender. I use these a lot for blueberry and huckleberry muffins, and the colors just go together perfectly for this. And so I started off just by cutting out each of the layers, and I'm leaving room off to the right there so that I can add onto that circular pattern that's being created by the die. You can see how I kind of wiggled that die until it kind of clicked into place, and then I put tape down. Now we only need to die cut the last 3 fronds of this die, and I could have put the die plate completely over, but I didn't want to push my luck and do any double cutting just in case it was a little bit off. So I was just very careful to only cut what I needed there. But that created a perfect kind of a half circle that's actually going to lay flat when it's wrapped around a muffin. And I did the same thing on each of the 3 layers. Next, I cut the main piece away from the excess on each of the pieces. And then I made sure that all the little dots were empty of their negative spaces. And then I just glued all 3 layers together. And this creates such a beautiful look showing all 3 colors. We do need to cut out the bottom that's going to be resting on the table. And this could be done a couple of different ways. My compass was not big enough for this circle, so I could use kind of a template. But the way I do it is I just simply cut away, focusing on particular points throughout the cutting process, and just making sure that every so often it's the exact same spacing away from the little cutouts as I'm going. And then I'm just cutting away right at the end. If you're using the Kessa arch like I am, this is the spot to cut it. And then you'll see that it lines up perfectly around the other end to create that other little frond. And so we don't need that excess, so we can just cut it away, and then we'll glue that portion onto the base. And there is a little bit of overlap there, you know, that you can see, but I just put that to the back of the muffin, and I really doubt anybody's ever going to notice. These are not made to be disposable. In my book, I think of them more as napkin rings that they could be used over and over again, because they are very sturdy and just very beautiful. And you know, they take a little bit of time. They're fast, but to do 12 to give to the neighbors, I'm not sure I would want to do. I love my neighbors. Okay, I'll just stop there. I wanted to mention too that right before I put them in the oven, I put a few little diced peaches over top of the streusel so that that would kind of bake in, and fresh peaches would be seen on the tops. So to make the tag, I'm actually using an apple. And I know it's not the perfect peach, and I know that to some of you, it will only look like an apple now that I said it's an apple. But that's not the point. The point is to enjoy your dies and to think creatively with them. And so I'm creating a little bottom piece there that you could see. The little peaches have a little bump at the bottom, and so I just put a apple die underneath it, and staggered it a tiny bit for that bump. And then for the peach crevice that is on a peach, I'm using the side of another apple die just to kind of create that to go along the same line as the die. Now, my dauber has so many different colors on it along the yellows and oranges line that I hate to even say what color I'm using here. I'm just using a lot of the honey, and I know that ripe persimmon here in just a second really adds a beautiful peachy color, but my dauber has so many colors on it that it was actually perfect for this project. But I'm just kind of going along and I'm just shading using all those different colors and trying to stay along that crevice line. And on the right hand side, I've got a trick to add even more shading to that, so you can see I'm kind of staying away from that for the time being. I'll go in and blend it all out at the end. And I love what that ripe persimmon does. It just adds such a beautiful peachy color. Now I'm going in with Vintage Photo, and I'm going to go around the entire right side and I don't know, maybe a third of the way up the left. And this is just to kind of create some shading in there and getting the bottom little bump there that you can maybe see a little bit better than the previous portion of the video. But I'm just kind of daubering, and I'm not being really careful with the color at all. And I don't think you need to be. This is just how I did it. I'm sure there's artists out there that can just make an incredible peach, but this is how I did it, and every time I make one it gets a little bit better. But you can see how I used that apple going in with some Vintage Photo to kind of create a mask for the edge there, and that was a really easy way for me to do that. And then I just splashed on some Vintage Photo little water droplets to kind of give it kind of that fuzzy look. And then I did the leaves, and I just used mowed lawn and peeled paint for the leaves with a Copic marker for the veins of the leaves. And then you'll see that I go in here and I spritz the peach again with some larger water droplets. And again, it really wasn't about being perfect to me. It was about showing some people that I love kindness on Peach Cobbler Day, bringing them some muffins and just enjoying the day. And I know they'll appreciate it. And I actually wrote Happy Peach Cobbler Day on this particular peach, but you can see how they're all a little bit different every time you make them. And that's how I made the tag and just tied it on with a little bit of ribbon. Now another idea is to make a card, and these are the Maxwell layers, I think A and B. This is one of my all-time favorite dies. It is so versatile with so many different design elements to it that you can do with it. It layers, and I put a little bit of gingham back behind some kind of ivory. And these note cards are from Birch Press Design, and I love, this is the mango color, and it just makes it so easy to attach it to a card base. Another one of my all-time favorite die sets is the Waves layers A, B, and C, and you can use so many different colors to create different looks with this die set, and here it is peaches and cream. So there are just some ideas of how to celebrate Peach Cobbler Day, April 13th. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you liked this video, please click like to be notified of more. Subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you again soon.